You're fine. You're fine. Oh no, that's cool. Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, Fury versus Wilder ends in a controversial draw. NFL news, including the end of an era in Green Bay as Mike McCarthy is let go. Redskins also with some controversy signing Reuben Foster, and apparently Kelvin Benjamin needs Cam more than he thinks he does, and so much more starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to another fine edition of the Episodic Sports Podcast in the world, Debate Amongst Friends. I am your host, the Professor John Gotti, and I am the advocate in the winner's corner for the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast champ, always oozing machismo, Doc Lesnar. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great, good sir. How about yourself?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, Saturday, I was pretty hot. I was up there. I'm back down to my normal smooth jazz CD 101.9 self, and I'm ready to debate some sports with you tonight, sir.
I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to make you a little upset even more, I guess, talking about this fight. But I mean, that's what debates are for, right?
Yeah, let's get started, man. I'm ready. So, just like the doc said, we had a heavyweight championship bout on Saturday between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury for the WBO heavyweight champion of the world. That ended in a split decision between the three judges. A lot of people weren't really happy about this decision, present company included, and a lot of other people, myself included, felt like this was a farce. But I'm going to open up the floor to you, sir. I need to hear. No, the people need to hear. What are you thinking
So
about this fight?
First and foremost, I thought the fight was fantastic. It wasn't the old school heavyweight championship matches that we were going to get when Tyson was knocking everybody out. You're not getting any of that. We know that. Even though Fury undefeated, I watched some of his knockouts. Not really too impressed with any of them. I watched Wilder's knockouts. Of course, they're cinematic. Like, I mean, there's something special. If you haven't seen it, definitely go on YouTube and check them out. Now, I got a chance to listen to you, which, let me tell you, I commended you for, number one, putting on a polo at 1, 2 in the morning to record the show.
I was out there in California watching the fight, and on the flight back, it was a quick jet. Out there just trying to be like the doc, styling, profiling, woo! I was like, you know what? Let me make a recording real quick. Let me air out my grievances about this fight.
So here's the thing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've had time to really think about this fight. And the one thing I will say, and this is gonna sound ridiculous, and I'm gonna go into why I say this. I wouldn't be surprised if none of those judges actually wrote down anything on their scorecards until the end. I would not be surprised. Because, number one, I felt that the differences in the scores, like, they weren't even remotely close. They were so, I mean, we're talking about east, north, south. They were so different. I mean, one guy was in New Jersey, the other guy was in, Texas, and then there was somebody who wasn't even in the country with these with these things. So the split draw, I'm sure, is what got people really, really mad. But let me tell you what I saw in this fight. And the last 3 days, I got a chance. I heard Skip Bayless talk about it. I've heard, of course, your friend Stephen A. Smith talk about it. Obviously, I posted on the Debate Amongst Friends Facebook page, of course. Go to Debate Amongst Friends, the group page at facebook.com. And Jalen Rose also put in there exactly what I was thinking. Draw right down the middle. And I'm going to tell you, and the reason why I think that these officials did not
This is the part that I'm waiting to hear. Tell me why you believe this is a draw.
Number one, I watched Klitschko versus Fury. I don't know if you got a chance to ever see it. If you've seen it recently, if anybody out there saw it, Fury beat Klitschko. He beat him. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know some people were kind of on the fence. Now, the one thing that one of the announcers said in that match, and it brought me to this one, was with Fury's antics, sometimes it's hard to tell whether he's actually landing punches or not. And that is what that's what the commentator said, and that's what I also noticed.
I'm giving you your time, okay? I'm not pulling the Skip Bayless right now, okay?
Don't pull the Skip Bayless. I can see it in your face you want to. I can see it.
No, but wait.
I felt as though Fury's punches, although he's very animated, and I mean, I've never seen a big guy shuffle as much as he did, and I can tell that he did frustrate Wilder. Wilder was like, he said it himself, I have got to put this guy down, and that's all I want to do. I want to put him down. It cost him what looked like a few rounds. I wouldn't say the first 4 to 5, as some people believe, but maybe 2-2 split in the beginning of the match, because again, Fury did a lot of movement. He threw a lot of punches, and in boxing, similar to baseball, when you're watching a baseball game, and I know this is me, and maybe it's just me, when you hit the ball and you're watching on TV, a lot of times, unless it goes directly behind the catcher, it always looks like a home run to me. So to me, when I'm watching this fight and he's jabbing and you hear that touching of the glove, and even the crowd is like, ooh, and ahs, and he didn't even really hit him. And to me, the judges are right there, and they're all watching the same fight we're watching, but it's their depiction on who landed the punches. So the reason also why I say that I don't really believe that they recorded these numbers until the end, like, there's no way, as you mentioned, that one or the other person didn't jump out ahead, usually, and because they were bouncing around the ring the whole time. But it wasn't until the knockdowns that it became like, we got to score this a draw. Like, I believe that they expected Wilder to knock Fury out and not even have to worry about putting any numbers down. But when it came down to it, they was like, oh, we really got to put some numbers down. Let me go back and look at whatever stats they're given, think about what they can remember, and then write it down. That's just my opinion and theory. That might have happened. I think people should be madder at the person who had Wilder winning by 4 or 5 points than the guy who voted it as a tie. And that's just my opinion. If we're doing it that way, because there's no question Fury outboxed him. But when it came down to it at the very end, and this is another reason why I think those officials say, hey, we can't give this to Fury. He got knocked down twice. Like, there's no way we can do this. And we've got to make a Fury versus. Listen, that referee, commentators mentioned it. I watched all the other knockouts. That referee should have called that match when he hit that ground. There's no way he shouldn't have called it. He not only did he not call it, Wilder hit him again while he's falling down, falling down. And Wilder walked away, and he's just like this. It's over. He's blowing kisses at his girl. The camera pans, and the referee just got to 2 or 3 seconds. That referee gave Fury at least 14 to 15 seconds to get up off this canvas. At least 14 to 15 seconds. So the fact that he didn't call it, the count was kind of draw right down the middle. That's just what I saw. I believe it. I know it's hard to believe, but if you go back and watch the Fury Klitschko, like I said, I think he beat Klitschko. You watch every Deontay Wilder fight, and don't get me wrong, I'm not really a fan of either one. This is probably my second Wilder fight. I think I saw him fight Ortiz last, and I was like, oh man, he knocked him out pretty bad. But again, they stopped that fight once that body hit the ground with such force. And I know he rose like The Undertaker and all this other stuff people are talking about, but I think I would rise like The Undertaker too if I had 14 seconds to get up. And I will turn the floor back to you, my good sir.
Oh, is it my go?
Oh, yeah. Go, please.
Is it my go? Okay.
Please.
So I will start off with the last round because I think that's the point that everyone is saying this is where it was a tie. When Tyson Fury got knocked down, everyone, myself included, thought this match was over. The match was over, kiss the kids and, put the wives to bed. Like, it's over. It's done. Let's not even talk about the referees counting. Like, stuff like that happen in boxing all the time. Like, we can't look at that as an independent moment. Same thing with looking at Fury's last match. Like, we can't look at that and try to predicate that towards this fight. Let's just look at this fight as its own match. So, I'm just going to start off with that. So, a lot of other people said, well, they should have just stopped the fight after he got knocked down the second time. There's no 3 down rule for this fight or anything like that. He didn't go down 3 times. I would agree if anyone was to say when Tyson Fury got back up and Deontay Wilder became more aggressive and Fury was unable to defend himself, then I'm okay with they stop the match because obviously Fury got rocked. He can't really continue. But guess what, Doc? Not only did Fury able to withstand the torrent, a certain storm of Wilder, but he rattled Wilder not too soon after he got back up from that second knockdown. I'm pretty sure had Fury knocked down Wilder, people would not be making this case right now. And here's why. After the match, after the tie, after the controversy, I've been told, and I've been reading, that the only way Fury would have won this match is if he knocked out Deontay Wilder. I called balderdash on that. I gave, at the end, and I was watching it with the Duke, we had a really good intense back and forth about this because he wanted Wilder to win. I thought Wilder was going to win too, given, what Fury had to go through to get back into the ring. I was going to say it was easy, but it was going to be quite a challenge because he's faced off against someone who's actually bigger than him and someone who's heavier than him with a 2-inch reach advantage. So it was going to turn into a very interesting match. And early on, you started to see that 2-inch reach advantage really predicated. That, substantial height advantage showed, a different clashing of skills right there. But Tyson Fury outboxed Deontay Wilder throughout the whole match. Yeah, we could talk about the antics. I mean, but what boxer's not gonna have antics? Let's just call the spade a spade. Like what boxer not gonna have any kind of antics? Come on. I mean, not to mention this was his comeback match, and he had the crowd in the palm of his hands. He had the crowd, and even though people don't like this movie, this was very Rocky-esque. Like, people were eating this up throughout the match. But here's the major problem I had. He outboxed Wilder. He was faster than Wilder. He was, I wouldn't say stronger, you know, it's a 60-minute man thing, but I'm not going to go there. But he showed him a boxing lesson throughout the whole fight. Wilder barely hit any punches on him. And I believe the difference was like 4 to 6 punches? No. So when you first talked about the number of punches, I immediately said that's not right. Like, they messed up on those punch counts badly. Like, yeah, he got like 84 punches. I think that was Fury's punch total. Yeah, by like round 7, he was tagging him. He was tagging him, and people not gonna like what I say right now, but minus the knockdowns, what is the difference between what we seen on Saturday and a Floyd Mayweather fight?
You want me to speak now, or?
That's a question. Tell me, besides those 2 knockdowns,
so
what did we see? What did we see different between Saturday and a Floyd Mayweather fight? What is the difference?
So the difference, first and foremost, no other boxer outside of maybe Muhammad Ali had those kind of antics. And those antics were ridiculous.
I'm so happy that you said Muhammad Ali, because I was going to use that too. I was going to use Ali versus Foreman in my next point. Thank you very much for putting out there already.
So here's the other part here. And then I'm going to answer the question. Number one, again, if you watch Fury's matches, and I know you're saying we can't go back to the past, but you have to.
You can't go back to the past. This is not college football. This is not college football. It doesn't work based on full body of work throughout a season. It doesn't work this way. It's exactly how this is. This is why we have so many underdogs becoming world champions. Like,
he won the crowd over. He did these antics. He was faster, stronger, and as you said, you don't want to give him the 60-minute man mark, but I didn't
say he was stronger. I said that he was faster and he showed better skills.
Sure. I haven't seen anyone outbox Fury. So it's not, so that's just his skill. That's what he does. That's what he looks like. But when it comes down to it is, I've never seen him get hit as much as Wilder hit him. And that's also something, if you go back, even Klitschko had a very, very hard time against against Fury. Wilder actually hit Fury early, had his nose bleeding and everything. I think that was about the 4th or 5th. Tagged him a few times.
Yes, he tagged him. I'm not saying that Wilder hit him like 15 times throughout the whole match, because I'll be a hypocrite. I'm not saying that at all.
When you say, that's what I'm saying. So
I'm trying to say is all I'm trying to say is
was 84 punches.
I'm looking straight at the punches throughout I watched the whole match.
Yeah, too.
The whole match. There is no possible way that Tyson Fury hit him 84. I had at least 120. I had at least 120.
You might have been mistaken. Again, that's a part of his fighting skill. Like I'm telling you, he throws a lot of punches. And as I mentioned on my Facebook post, some of those were some of these little things like this, things like this, and people can see me, where he's like slapping the guys to make them mad.
Oh my gosh! I'm not even talking about those. I'm talking about those little Floyd Mayweather little slight jabs to the. Wow! No, I can't believe you're making this argument right now. I can't believe you're making this. I can't believe you're making this argument right now. Like, we can sit here and celebrate Floyd Mayweather, who, by the way, also said that Tyson Fury won this fight because he completely outboxed him as well.
He said that at round 5, and again, he's looking at it from the crowd perspective.
No,
he can't.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me that a former professional boxer is making this claim based off what the crowd is saying? Are you?
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that.
What did you say?
I said he's sitting in the crowd. He has the crowd perspective. He's not right there where the judges are.
Wait.
Where the judges can actually get the sweat and actually see the boxers. They're all looking from the crowd. They all have the same perspective. Everybody has an opinion.
Are you trying to tell me that one of the greatest boxing minds of our current generation can't decipher what is a punch and what is not a punch?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're going to trigger a lot of people with that comment right there. I'm just going to leave that one be, too. I'm going to leave that one be.
I'm here for it. I'm just telling you what I saw.
What I'm trying to say is we both had a view via camera right there on the action.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You know what I'll do for everyone? Like, I will sit here and I will provide my punch counter. I will sit there, rewatch this fight, and do a punch counter my own dang self. And I'm going to prove to you that the numbers lie.
I mean, if you want to do that, I say go for it. I mean, it probably would be a waste of time because you're probably going to count things that probably shouldn't be counted.
No.
I mean, I'm being honest with you. I mean, we don't know what they're counting.
Wow.
I don't know what they're counting.
You're already trying to discredit what I'm trying to do now? Wow, sir.
No, I'm not trying to discredit anything. All I'm saying is you're already biased.
Blasphemous.
Now, if you said you were going to get somebody else who was completely unbiased to watch this and do this punch counter, that would be something completely different. But who's unbiased? Everybody has their opinion of it already.
I could definitely do that. I have many sources who can definitely do that.
I would rather it be somebody different. I will
also make sure that you know this person as well too. So we both.
I don't want to know this person. I think it should be somebody completely random. I wish we could just go on the street, and be like, "Hey, listen, I want you to watch the fight. Count every punch thrown, every punch landed.
Wow, you gotta put air quotes now.
Back to us.
We gotta put air quotes now. We gotta put air quotes now because, like, I'm pretty sure that the whiff counter for Deontay Wilder's punches throughout that match matches the number of the punch counter they showed officially for Tyson Fury.
I don't know. Again.
Oh yeah.
If we're not going. So you said.
But let me
numbers lie.
Let me
finish because I never answered your question.
Because you sat there and already started discrediting everything that I was trying to say.
No, I said I was going to answer your question.
Calling me a pissant. Telling me I'm no data analyzing ninja.
Oh God, I didn't do that.
The data analyzing pissant.
You said on Facebook that those numbers are wrong, which you just said again.
I said it. I'm standing right by it too.
These are the numbers that the judges went by. So if these are the numbers that the judges went by, I don't know, but somewhere in there, Fury threw these punches. He had a great percentage landed. Wilder did not. Actually, I think it was 9% difference. I think he had 17 to 26 or something like that. Again, this is the numbers that they have. You asked me, I guess the question was, what was the difference between this and Mayweather? Mayweather dances the entire fight. He throws his jab. He dances. I mean, dancing. He's a dancing machine out there. So the difference was, I think Fury, although his antics were ridiculous, very Dean Ambrose-like when he was wacky, and he had a little Sami Zayn in him, and I hated part of that, but I loved it at the same time. And then again, I went to watch him versus Klitschko, and I saw he did the same thing, the exact same thing. He gets in a boxer's mind, that mentality, and he's that guy that you really want to punch in the face, but he's moving his face so much. It's just hard, which is what makes the knockout even better. So the difference between this fight and Mayweather fight is Mayweather is so focused on not getting hit at all that it makes the entire fight boring. So we're not gonna get any knockouts for the most part He might have knocked out a few people earlier in his career, but we're not getting those knockouts that we're craving. Where in this fight, despite Fury's defense, despite the antics, the movement, everything, Deontay Wilder, what Stephen A. Smith calls the hitman, the bronze bomber, put this man down twice, man, which made it a draw.
First of all, Stephen A. Smith should never talk about boxing ever again. And I'm also disappointed in Max Kellerman as well.
Stephen A. Smith said that he also believed. Stephen A. Smith said he also believed that Fury outboxed, and this is everything everybody keeps saying. He outboxed him, but just because you're outboxed doesn't mean that you won the fight, and that's where I think people are losing it. Just because you won. You outboxed somebody. Okay, your strategy worked. You had him. You had him move away from his strategy. That doesn't necessarily mean you ultimately won the fight. You just made him and forced him to fight your way, and it might not have looked pretty, but hey, he got things done. I mean, that's really all I can really say.
I can't believe you said, even though a boxer outboxed his opponent, he didn't win. That doesn't mean that he wins.
It doesn't.
I got nothing there. I'm just going to talk about the judges. So, a lot of people said that.
Are you going to discredit the judges? Is that what you're about to do? Are you about to discredit judges?
Yes, I am. Yes,
okay, I am. I'm here to listen to it, I guess.
So the judge and the one judge I really am going to pick.
Do you have anything on the? Do you have anything on the referee?
No.
Oh, see, then we're discrediting you already.
No.
I mean, come on.
No.
Where's the I need information on that referee too.
No, because you want me to tell you why I can't talk about the referees? Because the only thing people want to talk about with the referees is the fact that he took too long to start counting for Fury.
So, you want to know something? No. I took a screenshot of him, and you know who he looked like? You want to know who he looked like? He looked like Earl Hebner out there. Montreal Screwjob. That's exactly what he looked like. He was just like this.
You know what? I'm so glad you said Montreal Screwjob because there was a Screwjob. And you know who was Vince McMahon? The WBO.
No.
They screwed Tyson
I saw that referee look over to Vince McMahon, and he's like,
let me come to terms because I feel like we're talking about this way too long.
Come on, Wilder, get back over there in the corner. So, meanwhile, Wilder talking to his girlfriend over there in the corner.
that oh my gosh, I can't believe you, man.
I'm serious.
I'm gonna say that all I'm gonna say about the judge who called it a tie. He copped out and he cheated off other people's papers. That's all I'm gonna say there. I'm gonna leave that one there. I'm gonna talk about the one ref who gave Wilder the victory.
Mm-hmm.
He gave Deontay Wilder the first 4 rounds of this match. I cannot believe that at all.
Believe it. It happened. Believe it. It's Ripley's at this point. It's Ripley's.
Cannot believe that.
It's Ripley's at this point. Believe it or not, it's really Ripley's. It happened.
No, it is not. That is a false error. Like the closest one I would say, and that's even up for debate, was Judge Tapper, and he was the one who gave the match to Tyson Fury, and he gave.
That's because you've already become biased. You've already become biased.
Hold on. Let me get my point across, sir, before you start jumping on me.
Quickly.
He gave. Wow. He gave Deontay Wilder 4 rounds out of the 12. I said he got 3 out of the 12. I thought Tyson Fury dominated 9 rounds. And 2 of those 3 rounds that I gave Wilder were the 2 that he got knocked down. When he gets knocked down, Wilder gets those rounds. There's no other way around it. Unless Fury knocks him down, those are Wilder's rounds. It's really hard to get away from that. I totally agree with everyone else there. But he gave him the first round. That's the one I'm 50-50 on. I mean, I get it. It was the first round. They're filling each other up. Like, I get it. I don't really agree with it, but it is what it is. So he also gave him the 7th round. That's when Fury really started to pick up the pace a little bit. So I agree with that. Wilder picked up the pace a little bit, so I agree with that. The 9th round, that was the first knockdown, and the 12th round, which was the second knockdown. Those are the 3 rounds that I gave Deontay Wilder: the 7th, the 9th, and the 12th. And that's all I gotta say about that. Like I said,
of course you would agree with that because that's the way.
I literally just got finished saying that I gave him 3 rounds. He gave him 4. Wow.
Right.
I literally just said that. I literally just went through.
So we're trying to figure out. We're trying to figure out what the other 2 officials were watching. Is that what we're trying to do?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to figure out.
They were watching the same fight we were watching, where they saw
not. Can we at least agree that the judge who called it a draw was not watching that fight, and he obviously was just.
I think, and I said it. I started my argument saying I personally didn't believe any of them really had anything on their papers until the end of the fight, because they really thought it was. I'm telling you, I don't believe they wrote anything down until the end of the fight. They might have took little notes. Hey, Wilder got a big punch in this round, the biggest punch of all time. Fury really, really did some crazy things in this round, and he really got a big punch on Wilder.
But does one punch equate to a round? Like, one punch doesn't equate to a round. A knockdown can equate to a round, but not one punch.
I feel like that's how
they are not Saitama. This is not One Punch Man. Stop it.
I feel like that's how they judge the fight. Hey, who threw the biggest punch of the round? They gave it to him.
Then they shouldn't be judging anymore. If that's the case, then all 3 of them should not be judging anymore.
I think
can we at least agree to that then?
Absolutely, and the referee should be changed. Swap him out.
Wow. But in closing, I felt like they called this match a draw so they can have a much better build up towards the rematch.
Absolutely.
And the commentators immediately said that after they said split decision and this match is a draw. They said, "Oh, this is for the rematch."
This is what we need. This is what we need for heavyweight boxing.
Yeah, because
if
Fury lost, like it's okay. I got nothing to say about this one. I can't believe this.
Yeah, I mean, if think about it, they're both undefeated. You don't want it to go down. You don't want it to go down to the card when you have a person who had 2 knockdowns.
Everyone wanted it to end after the 2nd knockdown, but then
that's why it's not that everybody wanted it. It should have.
I'm telling you, when Fury was down that 2nd time, he literally was still good. He bounced back up.
No, man. Again.
Oh my gosh.
14 seconds, and this will be my last point again. 14 seconds of counting, or not counting.
So what? The referee just stood there and just stared at him for what? 6 seconds? 7 seconds? Is that what you're saying? So much so that the doc got cut. Chris, you are the real MVP. Where is he? There he is.
I think Chris played with your microphone. You were muted for a second there.
No, Chris muted you.
Oh, wow, because I was like, I couldn't hear you, and I'm like, why is he rocking back and forth in his chair when I'm trying to make a point here? So let me tell you what happened, and Chris knows I'm telling the truth. That's why he muted me. That referee sat there. Let me tell you what happened. Here we go, right? I'm Wilder. I hit Fury with the right, and then Fury's falling down. I catch him with the left. He falls back like this. Don't ever play with matches, right?
Don't ever play with matches.
He falls down. They say he hit his head. He didn't really hit his head. That was all, they just wanted to add that in there. Fury hits this ground. Wilder does one of these, right? He takes like 4 steps. He does one of these. He's looking at his wife, right? Or his girlfriend. I don't know. He's like, oh, it's over. I told you I was going to knock him out. The camera pans back to this man counting. he just got to 4. He just got to 4.
So
he missed at least 5. He should have been at least at 6 or 7, at least. And then he was at 8. He was at 8, and you could literally see him slow down his count as Fury's getting up. You can literally see it, bro. It was mind-boggling. He was like 6, 7. He's literally just like, just count, bro. Like 8, 9. And he's like, "Are you good? Are you good? Walk over there and then walk back to me." And it's just like, come on.
Gosh.
But if you can find a mutual person to watch the fight over and get that pound, not that it matters. I mean, there's nothing that we can do to change the decision.
There's nothing we could do now. I mean, I just enjoy hearing people just say, and it's not so much as you, but like other people just saying like, "Oh, Wilder, won the fight," and I'm just like, how?
Yeah, I felt that's why I said personally that I was happy with the draw. I was happy with the draw.
Well, the issue is the people who said that Wilder should have won the fight, and how the Internet Justice Society of America, or of the world actually, are those same people who said that he should have won suddenly said, "Oh, I'm fine with the draw."
No, I don't. I can't concur with those people. I was very, very happy with the draw. You're just pairing me with Wilder based on their feelings, but I was okay with the draw because I saw 2 boxers who were undefeated. Really, in retrospect, both of them didn't have a super great fight. But the one thing I'm going to say is that the draw really made it up for some really, really bad all around scoring and refereeing.
Wow. Okay, I think we can end on that one then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can end it at that one because we'll go on forever about this one.
I mean, and that's kind of what you wanted.
Yes. But before we switch gears, we're gonna have a word from our sponsor.
Catfish. We pride ourselves in the best cook-to-order catfish and wings.
Come in today and try a 2-piece catfish basket over a bed of fries, Texas toast, and a fresh-made salad. Or our land and sea basket, 2 wings, 2 fillets over a bed of fries, Texas toast, and a fresh-made salad. Have a large appetite? Ooh-wee! Try 6-piece wings over a bed of fries, Texas toast, jalapeno peppers, and pickles.
Ooh-wee! What's wrong? Now that's good.
Boy, if you're looking for the best catfish and wings in town,
then come visit us at Ooey Wings and Catfish.
And we're back. Oh, let's switch gears from the boxing ring and let's hit the gridiron, sir. We had some pretty big news that happened this week.
Yes, I think we talked about it either last week or the week before last, or the week before that. Mike McCarthy was on the hot seat, and I think I had said it was pretty hot, but I mean, apparently it boiled over this past weekend where, even though they were in Lambeau, they felt that Arizona heat boil up on them. I mean, it is pretty sad when you lose to the Cardinals, though, honestly.
I get it, and also I literally said, like, right after the game, like, yeah, he's about to get fired. I'm like, that's it. He's gone. He's done.
They just don't look good. Clay Matthews looks older. I mean, their defense is just...
I think a lot of the issue is, yes, the team is getting way older. Like, it almost feels like the team that won the Super Bowl are still playing now. And it's not necessarily adapting to this new way the NFL is being played because, NFL offenses are much faster and stronger and they score a lot of points, and they score as many to make the scoreboard cry at times.
honestly, I don't feel like they've done enough to improve their offense, nor improve their. I'm gonna stick with offense. The Green Bay Packers that I remember continuously ran like stretch and zone, and I remember Aaron Rodgers always stretching the ball out super far, to hand the ball off to the running back, which I feel like that's something that they've been missing for years. I mean, I know Eddie Lacy gained a lot of weight and he couldn't stay healthy, but I mean, they honestly might miss a clear-cut running back. I mean, you remember they took a wide receiver and made him a running back, and that's cool, but after a while, I mean, even the Patriots have running backs by committee. I know they use Cordell Patterson now, but I mean, everybody has a running back that they can at least get a couple yards from every once in a while, and the Packers just don't seem to have that it guy just yet who's going to basically get those yards that Aaron Rodgers needs to take the pressure off of him. And I think, honestly, that's where it gets to be kind of tricky, and they're relying heavily on Aaron Rodgers to really bail them out of practically everything with his magical arm.
And I agree. I really felt like they didn't really do anything further. And it's one of the complaints that we had with the Cowboys play calling. Like, their offense was just rather stale. And just like you said, they depend way too much on Aaron Rodgers. Now, and the other part of this story, too, they also got rid of one of their assistant coaches. Behind it now is people are starting to say that that bad man Aaron Rodgers might be a diva. He might be a distraction in the locker room, and he may or may not end up being the leader. That was a hot take. A lot of people are either confirming nor denying this. Just like Winston Moss, who was the assistant head coach of the Packers, who got fired. And he put that tweet out on the 4th.
So I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers deserves to be treated a little differently and overall, quarterbacks in general usually are treated differently, especially one that you just extend and pay a whole gazillions of billions of millions of dollars to. So I'm pretty sure the owner there and the GM are like, Aaron Rodgers, or we struggle to find a new, franchise quarterback, which so many teams struggle with, and we traded his backup away. We traded his backup away last year or early this year. Now we kind of just, we'll see what happens. So to me, Mike McCarthy hadn't done anything, or at least enough, to keep his job.
I can agree with that.
So it doesn't really matter if Aaron Rodgers is a diva or not. The main thing is, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and guess who's under State Farm? Aaron flipping Rodgers. And he's there, and now Mike McCarthy's not. Hey, he's got to go. He's just not helping me win right now. He's got to go.
He had to go. Here's the ironic part about all this. Mike McCarthy got fired before. You know who I'm talking about, out there in Cincinnati. He got fired before him.
I have no words for that. Obviously, I'm hoping that the Bengals follow suit.
No, they won't.
I mean, they're one game away. Really, they're really tied with the Browns right now for that division. And to me, it just seems like they should fire him. I'm not saying to let Hugh Jackson take over, because that would be going from one dumpster. That would be going from one dumpster fire with paper to one dumpster fire with plastic. I mean, it's still a dumpster fire, no matter how you slice it. But to me, it's just time to move on. it's still a piece of trash. To me, it's just start over. So right now, it looks like Joe Philbin's going to take over, who's somebody I feel like they wanted to, I guess, have anyway. Because, I mean, they let him go a couple years ago. And,
I don't know what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and
there's been a lot of names as far as who they're looking to try to become the new head coach there. You know,
what's one name?
I know there was a lot of memes.
Oh God.
About Jeff Fisher.
I think I wrote that on somebody's page. I said, you know something, if he gets one more opportunity, I might just lose it.
I actually agree with you. I can't see anyone hiring him.
So the one person that does popped up immediately, and you just let me know how you would feel about this. I mean, and then we can move on to one of the next topics. But Josh McDaniels.
That was the one that I was hearing a lot too.
That's interesting. I mean, you think about it, he would leave the Packers with the Patriots for the Packers.
Yeah, and I believe Robert Kraft is advocating a lot for him to try to get this opportunity as well too.
Because I mean, you think about it,
which is ironic because we were just talking about at the end of last season about how Belichick possibly leaving soon too, and McDaniels possibly just getting it paid forward to become the new head coach for the Pats and just keep their winning ways.
But would you want to do that knowing that you're basically you basically have Tom Brady for me? He's saying he wants to play another 4 to 5 years, but you might have him for 2.
I mean, I think we said about 3, 2 to 3 years. So yeah, we're getting around that second year mark of the 2 to 3 years point. So
yeah, I don't think it's happening.
We'll have to see, but I think Josh McDaniels will do great there. He's definitely a offensive-minded coach who's really good with working with quarterbacks. I felt like he didn't necessarily get a fair shake when he was the coach of the Denver Broncos when it was Jake Cutler's show. Because Jake Cutler is freaking Jake Cutler, and he's his own adjective and name as well.
You're absolutely right.
But seeing him working with Aaron Rodgers, I feel like they're going to definitely, fix their offensive woes. They're definitely going to try to look to increase the offensive tempo, try to score a little bit more points. Possibly even not rely on Aaron Rodgers having to scramble all the time.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, after a while, how many times did he get injured because he kept scrambling? A lot.
And to be honest with you, I think Josh McDaniels would speed the tempo up, and I think that's what kept Tom Brady basically able to play for so many years.
Yes.
Quick plays, screens, drags, slants, little pop plays, just to get the ball out of his hand quick and neutralize some of these defensive lines that are really, really good and blitzes and whatnot. But I mean, to me, I think Josh McDaniels would be interesting. Number one, you're going to a team that runs a 3-4, and even though the Patriots kind of run like a hybrid defense, I kind of feel as though that defense would work in Green Bay. I'm not sure, who they're going to keep, who they're going to get rid of, but I feel like they have the offensive weapons that might help him be successful in Green Bay.
Yes. I mean, maybe we have to wait and see if it's going to happen. Right now, this is all rumors. But I mean, who else do you think? There's a lot of coaches out there. Some of them that you really liked and you would have really enjoyed being the head coach for your Buccaneers. I mean, what other coaches do you feel like would be a great fit for, the Aaron Rodgers-led, leader or not, football team?
I mean, outside of Joe Philbin, who's already there as interim, I think a lot of people have been saying that the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator. I think he's been a name that's been thrown out there. I think if I had to come up with some people off the top of my head.
Off the top of your head. You know, people screaming in my ear. They want to know what the doc thinks.
I know there's some ridiculous people out there that are going to say, and I've heard it with the Bucks too. They want to fire Dirk Cutter and everything, but a lot of people were saying they wouldn't mind Urban Meyer coming up, even though he has, health issues. They're just like, we want him. We want that guy.
But he's not going to do that, though, because he's planning on not coaching football anymore. That's what his plan is to not coach anymore.
I get it. 100%. I get it. But that has nothing to do with these fans and what they want. They're very weird. I'm just here to tell you. And
you're gonna have to be extra careful, though. I know a lot of Green Bay Packers fans at my job, so you're gonna have to be extra cautious right there.
No, absolutely. I know a lot of Green Bay. I know a lot of Packer fans as well. I'm sure they're listening out there, and I'm saying some of you guys are weird. I mean, I'm just trying to tell you. I mean, what you want from me? But ultimately, I think another name that might get thrown out there is maybe both Jim and John Harbaugh. I know Baltimore is up in the air. Michigan isn't really winning, especially after that last shellacking they took by Ohio State. I'm sure he's just hanging on.
Shout out to the Buckeyes fans that was just enjoying all the memes that I was putting out there on Saturday.
Yeah, that was rough. Really rough.
That was hilarious. I was like, wow, they're really doing this. Oh, time for me to start tweeting. The necrophilia setting in. Shout out to Chisel Adonis for that.
But I wouldn't be surprised if John Harbaugh moved over to Green Bay.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
3-4 defense, I would say better offense than he has. Probably best quarterback he's worked with in his history of coaching. I mean, no shade to Flacco, but shade at the same time.
Yeah, I can agree with that actually. I can't deny that. I mean, Jersey Joe is not who we thought he was.
Exactly.
Although we both definitely gave him his kudos when he won the Super Bowl, but I mean that was then. This is now.
Exactly.
Like, here at Debate Amongst Friends, it is a what have you done for me lately?
Absolutely. And speaking of somebody who was hating, who was had high expectations, somebody who was a first round pick, actually back-to-back stories. Yeah, back-to-back stories. Supposed to be successful players. Let's
$25. $25 Chinese food. Yeah.
Look, basketball, back-to-back. Football in this situation. Kelvin Benjamin, beginning of the season, he said, "I'm about to show you how to do this, son. I don't need no Cam. Cam's a sucker. He made everything hard for me. I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna break all kinds of records. Of course, I'm ad-libbing, of course, but cut by the Buffalo Bills. How embarrassing is that?"
Kelvin Benjamin is who we thought he was. We're talking about the same person who, after he got drafted, got hurt. We're talking about someone who was barely on the field for the Panthers.
This is true.
And is trying to act like he was Des Bryant at his prime.
So this is what I'll say.
Ooh, shout out to J5 there.
I didn't want to go there. That's why I skipped right past it. Kelvin Benjamin had a lot of potential, but potential really doesn't get you but so far. I mean, potential gets you drafted in the first round.
Potential gets you, get you a chance to see the table. It doesn't make you sit in it.
Exactly. You might get to see the table, but then they might not serve you in this situation.
You might be, sitting there in Jimmy John's, you're in the building and you can smell the food, but you can't get the food.
It's not Freaky Fast when you're in the building. So my thing with with Kelvin is, number one, of course, he came in super overweight that year.
Yep.
They get rid of him. They trade him to Buffalo. He really didn't. I feel like he never really overcame whatever injury he had, and it's probably because he gained so much weight. But then there's that 1 week. Now you think about this: Buffalo Bills, new regime. They draft a quarterback in the first round. They get rid of Tyrod. They said we're going to make a culture change. Rosen
honestly,
goes out there.
I don't think Tyrod was the problem there, though.
Absolutely not. Rosen goes out there and he said, "Hey, Kelvin, let's run some routes together." Kelvin says, "Nah, dog, I'm not doing no routes. You're done."
I felt like as soon as
yes,
Wynn got caught of him saying that, like they should immediately cut him.
We're done here.
Like you're either going to be committed to the cause or you're not going to be here. Like I'm surprised it took them this long to finally release him.
Honestly, if I was them, I would have cut him and that other guy, I guess, and I would have just brought in Dez.
He caught 39 passes this year for 571 yards with only 2 TDs to his name for this year.
And he said that Cam was the problem. No, sir, it's you. And let me tell you what somebody in the Buccaneer group said. They said,
"Tell me, I want to hear it.
Do you guys think that we should sign Kelvin Benjamin because he had such a connection with Jameis at Florida State?" Most people said no. Do you want to know what the doc said?
If you said yes, we're probably going to have to cut the stream early.
The doc said probably not, unless he converted full-time to tight end to take over for an injured O.J. Howard.
That I'm okay with that explanation. Because if you just said yes, I'm like, okay, there's no second commercial, there is no outro. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
That is it. That's the only way it would work, is if he converted his 6'6", 200 and whatever pound body to being a tight end.
300-pound body.
And he ran tight end routes.
Yes.
That's it.
I can see that working. I can honestly see that working.
It's not happening. But another successful player, a college player who came to the NFL and has been in a lot of trouble. 2 players, actually. One that we didn't even really put on the card here, but I'm going to add him. Reuben Foster, also from Alabama, supposed to beat